Okay, welcome. At this point, I'd like to ask the town board to please rise.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, well, welcome to the June 24th, 2020 special meeting of the Town of Brunswick Town Board. And you probably know this meeting is being held this evening because we postponed the June 11th, 2020 regular meeting. Before getting down to the regular business of this meeting, I'd like to explain to you why we needed to postpone the June meeting. On Monday, June 8th, 2020, around midday, we learned that one of our town office staff has tested positive for COVID-19. Thankfully, the employee did not report to work that day, having been tested a couple of days before and having made the wise decision to wait for test results before reporting to work. Upon learning of the positive test results, we immediately contacted the Rensselaer County Health Department for guidance. We also questioned our remaining staff to determine who had personal contact with this individual who had tested positive within the past 10 days. We remained in close contact throughout the day with the Rensselaer County Health Department, and by the end of the day, had learned that the positive result was verified. We were advised that the town office building needed to be shut down completely and professionally cleaned and disinfected. No staff were to report the building except for one or two individuals to answer the phone in case of emergency calls, until the cleaning and disinfecting was complete and the building was safe to re-enter. We were also informed that all town office staff who had been in close contact with this individual who tested positive was being placed on a quarantine list by the health department through June 18, 2020. I want to stress that our office here is a very small office. And frankly, most of our staff have been in close contact with the individual during this period in question. So just to be clear, by close of business on June 8, 2020, the town office was off limits to the staff, and some 90% or more of our office staff was on quarantine and prohibited from reporting to work. It was during this period that we made a difficult decision to postpone the June 11th, 2020 regular town board meeting. On June 10th, the town office was professionally cleaned and sanitized. The following day, the health department approved our having a few staff members come to the office on a very limited basis to attend on such things that could not wait. For example, the payroll. I note that on June 11th, the original scheduled date of the meeting that was postponed, all of our office staff who were quarantined under COVID-19 testing, underwent COVID-19 testing under arrangements made by the health department. Fortunately, there was no other positive among the staff, and all quarantine office staff remained in quarantine, however, through June 18, 2020. Some returned to work on the following day, which is the 19th, with the others returned to work on June 22nd. With that, let me first address the issue of whether we should have postponed the June 11th board meeting. That's pretty easy in my mind. I stand by the decision of postpone that meeting and would do so again at the same circumstances. I've been here over 20 years, 20 plus years. I can't remember ever postponing a board meeting. There's been blizzards where, matter of fact, the highway department had to basically plow our road so we could get down here, and I never canceled a meeting, but this is a very, very serious situation. Conducting a town board meeting requires that support staff and officials be present. At least 4 individuals outside of the board members would have needed to be in attendance, and all of those people were on quarantine. date of the meeting cancellation and the original meeting date itself, no test results regarding those on quarantine had been received. For all we knew at that time, some or all of our staff could have been positive for the virus. It would have been irresponsible under the circumstances to risk any possibility of the spread of this virus between and among support staff and our board members. Moreover, even just preparing for a meeting as scheduled by support staff would have been extremely problematic under the circumstances, as access to the town office and its record and the office equipment had been restricted. A separate issue was raised as to why I was less than detailed in the notice of the meeting postponement. I was circumspect about the reason, largely because of privacy concerns, not only for the employee who tested positive, but also for all those under quarantine. As I mentioned, ours is a very small office. We have a closely knit community where people talk to one another. And I felt that if a lot of details were provided, it could have resulted in pain and embarrassment for some, even if the names weren't mentioned. Also at the time, I had noticed postponing the meeting. I had no idea how this whole situation was going to play out. For all I knew at the time, the virus could have already been spread among many of our staff, and which has caused a serious problem for many families, not to mention our continuing operation. On a personal note, my administrative assistant, Tracy, pretty thrilled. She just became a grandmother for the first time, and a baby girl, and all of a sudden she was in complete panic because she just got done visiting the baby and holding the baby, and now she finds out somebody tested positive. So this is pretty serious stuff. Thank God Tracy was okay and the rest of the office staff was okay. But I wasn't going to have a meeting just for the sake of having a meeting. I didn't see any reason why we couldn't wait a week, and that's what happened. I didn't want to needlessly cause any public concern. Moreover, this being a close-knit community, it became apparent soon after the meeting was canceled that word has already leaked out about the positive test result. I understand it was already on Facebook, and of course, not to mention Stewart's. And things are changed these days, so there's no secrets. It was my feelings that there was no pressing reason to go into greater details about what was transpiring until we knew where we stood on the test. It was my belief that most people would read between the lines of the notice postponing the meeting due to unanticipated COVID-19 complication, or words in effect, and surmise what has happened. From conversation I've had with people since, many did just that. I think if a large number of people were dissatisfied with the way that this whole canceled board meeting was handled, which was a judgment call on my part, I would have heard from somebody. And again, I mentioned the word surrounding. I did not hear about anybody being unhappy, besides that I did hear from one individual in the town. Now, I always fully wanted to explain this and why we needed to postpone it, and of course that's what I just did now. This incident is a real eye-opener for me. Like many, I was growing tired of the restrictions placed on us due to this COVID-19, and I was anxious for them to be over. As hard as it was for us to continue normal operation with a mandatory staff reduction and the loss of revenue caused by the government reaction to this pandemic, I felt that we had escaped largely unscathed in a serious way. By all accounts, confirmed cases, hospitalizations, and death were now on a downward trend. Then all of a sudden, I figured we're out in the woods, and then all of a sudden, bang, one of our staff. So it does get your attention that this is out there, this virus is out there, and we're all getting pretty comfortable, but this thing can affect anybody. In a minute, it affects one person, whoever that person's been in contact, and as I mentioned, when we start talking babies and everything else, this is pretty serious stuff. Anyone who feels that COVID-19 is no longer a cause for concern or no longer needs to be considered should ask my staff who tested, or should ask my staff member, I should say, who tested positive and still is unable to come back to work. Or ask the bulk of our office staff who live in our routine were significantly interrupted through no fault of their own, and who had to endure worry and concern. And trust me, when this affects close to home, everybody that was affected, and the night before the test, I contacted every one of our staff and wished them luck, and every one of them was pretty darn nervous because every one of them had contact with their family. So we did the right thing. There was no need to have a board meeting. We could wait a few days, which we're doing now, and I want to explain exactly what happened. And again, 20 plus years, I can't remember ever doing this before. So with that, I think we can move into our board meeting. Correct, Council?
Yes.
The minutes?
Well, on that note, I respectfully ask that the minutes be pulled from consideration for this meeting tonight. It came to my attention that inadvertently I had admitted some correspondence which should have been actually included in the meeting. While they will be in the meeting record, they should have been referenced and addressed appropriately during the board meeting, and we're not. And I will amend and resubmit for authorization.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Also, I believe all our department heads, correct, Bill, has handed in their reports?
Yes, we have reports from each department on, I was missing highway at this point.
You're missing the highway, is this correct? Okay. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the reports that's handed in, except for the highway report.
Okay, this is Tom.
I made the motion, and Gordy seconded the motion.
Yes.
We need a roll call?
Yes, you do. Yes. Councilman Christian made a motion to accept the reports. I'm sorry, that was Councilman Valtre. Seconded?
Phil made the
No, I
motion
made
and
the
Gordy
motion.
seconded.
Motion. Okay.
I made a motion, and Gordy seconded.
Got confused. All right. And Councilman Christian. So roll call vote as follows. Councilman Christian.
Councilman Christian, aye.
Councilman Sullivan.
Councilman Sullivan, aye.
Councilman Valtre.
Councilman Ballister, aye.
Councilman Sibberly.
Councilman Sibberly, aye.
Supervisor Harrington.
Supervisor Harrington, aye.
The reports are accepted.
Okay, resolutions? Bill?
Town Clerk Lewis, resolutions for June 24th, 2020. Resolution number 43, resolution adopting the town highway plan. Need a motion?
I'll make the motion. Councilman Christian.
Councilman Sullivan, second.
Supervisor Harrington, this is just a list of roads that we plan on paving this year.
Okay, the foregoing resolution was, Town Clerk Lewis. Foregoing resolution was offered by Councilman Christian and seconded by Councilman Sullivan. Roll call vote, Councilman Christian.
Councilman Christian, aye.
Councilman Sullivan.
Councilman Sullivan, aye.
Councilman Valtre.
Councilman Ballister, aye.
Councilman Sibberly.
Councilman Sibberly, aye.
Supervisor Harrington.
Supervisor Harrington, aye.
Town Clerk Lewis. Foregoing resolution is adopted. Resolution number 44, resolution designating Freedom of Information Law Appeals Officer. Have a motion?
Councilman Ballister will offer it.
May I have a second?
Councilman Sibberly, I'll second.
Town Clerk Lewis. Foregoing resolution was offered by Councilman Ballister and seconded by Councilman Sibberly. Roll call vote. Councilman Christian.
Councilman Christian, aye.
Councilman Sullivan.
Councilman Sullivan, aye.
Councilman Ballister.
Councilman Ballister, aye.
Councilman Sibberly.
Councilman Sibberly, aye.
Supervisor Harrington.
Supervisor Harrington, aye. Just one note on resolution 44, just correct the spelling of Councilman Sullivan's name, please.
Good catch, Supervisor.
All right, you pulled up.
That's okay, it was pretty close, we knew who it was.
Oh, yeah.
Geez, I read the resolution, I didn't read the names.
We will fix that. Okay, so
Try and pronounce it. Yeah, that's a tough one.
okay, Tom Clerk Lewis, foregoing resolution was adopted. Resolution number 45, 2020. Resolution joining in request the Rensselaer County Department of Engineering and Highways to the New York State Department of Transportation to consider a reduction of the maximum speed limit on the entirety of North Lake Avenue, County Route 144, in the town of Brunswick. Have a motion?
Councilman Christian made the motion.
Councilman Ballester, second.
What this is been concern and been accidents on North Lake, and we were approached by quite a few of the neighbors to take a look at it. It's a county road. However, we want to do a resolution and ask DOT to consider lowering the speed on North Lake to 30. Because anybody that travels and been on that road knows speed is a factor. So that's what this resolution is about.
Okay. Councilman Lewis, the motion was made by Councilman Christian, seconded by Councilman Ballester. Roll call vote, Councilman Christian.
Councilman Christian, aye.
Councilman Sullivan.
Councilman Sullivan, aye.
Councilman Ballester.
Councilman Ballester, aye.
Councilman Sipperly.
Councilman Sipperly, aye.
Supervisor Harrington.
Supervisor Harrington, aye.
Town Clerk Lewis. Resolution is adopted. Resolution number 46, 2020. Resolution appointing and fixing compensation of town employee. We have a motion.
Councilman Christian will make the offer.
Second.
Supervisor Harrington will second it. We had a longtime mechanic retire, Mr. Delsano. And he can, with Social Security and everything else, work very limited hours, like 12 hours a week. But our remaining mechanics here, plus our highway staff, asked if there's any way to bring Jim back, because with 30 years plus experience, he knows all the equipment. He's the one that did the part inventory on the computer. He's the one that does the computer stuff. He understands the warranties. He's just very, very, very valuable. And to be perfectly honest, it's a bargain for the town for him to come back. It's a max of 12 hours a week and gives him something to do, gets him out of the house, he tells me. So I'm very, very happy with this. So.
Okay. Councilor Lewis, the foregoing resolution was offered by Councilman Christian and seconded by Supervisor Harrington. Roll call vote. Councilman Christian.
Councilman Christian, aye.
Councilman Sullivan.
Councilman Sullivan, aye.
Councilman Ballester.
Councilman Ballester, aye.
Councilman Sipperly.
Councilman Sipperly, aye.
Supervisor Harrington.
Supervisor Harrington, aye.
Councilor Lewis, foregoing resolution is adopted. Resolution number 47, resolution approving and authorizing supervisor to execute letter of engagement and retainer. We have a motion.
Offered by Councilman Sullivan.
Second.
Councilman Christian, second.
Town Clerk Lewis. Foregoing resolution was offered by Councilman Sullivan and seconded by Councilman Christian. Roll call vote. Councilman Christian.
Councilman Christian, aye.
Councilman Sullivan.
Councilman Sullivan, aye.
Councilman Ballester.
Councilman Ballester, aye.
Councilman Sipperly.
Councilman Sipperly, aye.
Supervisor Harrington.
Supervisor Harrington, aye.
Town Clerk Lewis, foregoing resolution is adopted. Resolution number 48, 2020. Resolution appointing member to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Councilman Ballester, offer.
And I'll second. Supervisor Harrington.
Town Clerk Lewis, foregoing resolution was offered by Councilman Ballester and seconded by Supervisor Harrington. Roll call vote. Councilman Christian.
Councilman Christian, aye.
Councilman Sullivan.
Councilman Sullivan, aye.
Councilman Ballester.
Councilman Ballester, aye.
Councilman Sipperly.
Councilman Sipperly, aye.
Supervisor Harrington.
Supervisor Harrington, aye.
Town Clerk Lewis, foregoing resolution is adopted. Resolution 49, 2020. Resolution
Yeah.
authorizing execution
Which one?
of agreement for payment in lieu of taxes.
Hey, Bill,
Oh,
I thought one of these resolutions, correct, Tom? Asked, which one was that? Payment in lieu of taxes, I would believe it would be, right? I thought they were still a little concerned about working out the details.
I didn't get anything emailed as far as I know, but.
This
What do you think,
is
Tom?
Attorney Trophy, just give me a minute, and let me look, see if I can find anything.
This is payment in lieu of taxes, one of these, and for the solar company. We have to make sure everybody's agreed, all the parties involved, so. We only had one bill on the.
There's two.
No, there's two.
Yeah, there's two on
Yeah.
that.
The other one, escrow for.
One's the escrow.
Subdivision.
My recollection, this is Attorney Trophy again, I did speak to Mr. Gilchrist today, and he told me that that there was a problem with one of the agreements, that one party didn't want to go forward with it, and it needed to be pulled. And I'm assuming that it's the payment in lieu of taxes agreement, the one that involves the payment in lieu of taxes,
Yep.
because that's one that involves the school district. So, and that's what he said, so I'm thinking that that's the one that was supposed to be paid.
I agree with you, Tom.
Bill, I think there might be, he said he was going to send you an email.
If you'd like me to quickly dash back to the office.
You want to take, you want to,
That's fine with me, either check your email or call them, when you call them and make sure.
just make, maybe, just make it.
Yeah.
Not a problem. Yeah, commercial break, huh? Probably everybody's trying to adjust the volume back home, right? Can we jump down to the new business?
Sure, yes, we just hold this. Well, I don't think, I'm not sure that that he's going to be needed for that, he's not going to be.
There he is.
Yep.
So did you send an email?
No,
No?
I called him.
Okay.
Which one? What's going on?
Payment in lieu of taxes, second.
We were right, it's the pilot resolution that needs to be pulled, so that's number 49.
Right, this is Town Clerk Lewis, resolution number 49 is being pulled to consideration for this evening's meeting.
Okay.
Okay, so continuing. Again, Town Clerk Lewis, resolution 50, 2020, resolution authorizing execution of escrow agreement.
Councilman Christian, I'll offer.
Councilman Sullivan, second.
Town Clerk Lewis, foregoing resolution is offered by Councilman Christian, seconded by Councilman Sullivan. Roll call vote. Councilman Christian.
Councilman Christian, aye.
Councilman Sullivan.
Councilman Sullivan, aye.
Councilman Salisbury.
Councilman Ballsbury, aye.
Councilman Sipperly.
Councilman Sipperly, aye.
Supervisor Harrington.
Supervisor Harrington, aye.
Town Clerk Lewis, foregoing resolution is hereby adopted. Okay.
All right. Any old business? New business for the board to consider. I want to talk a little bit about our town beach. Been receiving phone calls, quite a few phone calls, asking whether we're going to open up the beach this year. As you know, I think many of you know, twice a week, County Executive McLaughlin has a Zoom conference that I participate in when I can't. Deputy Supervisor Christian attends for me, and we try to follow the governor, the executive orders, and it changes. They change quite often, and it's been a little challenge. But at this point, there's a possibility that we could open it. I'm just trying to get a feeling from the board, what the board thinks, whether they want to try to open the beach. I guess that's what I'm wondering.
Well, Councilman Christian, I think it can be done. I think what the number is, 163 people in there. We have to cut it back to, we have to cut it back to 83, I believe. That's it? 80
For capacity, yeah.
For capacity. We have the adequate coverage on the lifeguards. I believe we're covered pretty good at the gate. So, you know, I think if we run by the state guidelines and try to keep the numbers down, I think it's a possibility. From what I understand, the amount of COVID that would live on a picnic table is null. Very, very, very minimal by the CDC standards, I believe. And I may be wrong, but that's what I'm getting through the news, if you can trust it. It does not transmit good through water at all. So, you know, I'm okay with giving it a go. I don't know what the rest of you guys feel on it.
I did contact the head lifeguard who's been with us for many, many years. Of course, the big majority of the lifeguards are all college students. Excellent. Many of them work with us. And she talked to a lot of them, and they're willing to give it a try with the protocols. And as I mentioned, somebody's going to be on the ball at the entrance to make sure everything's done right. And there's some things we have to follow. But, you know, these 90-degree days, and when you have a town beach as beautiful as ours, and the town residents as a family don't have many things they can do or many places they can go, for me it's a little hard to keep it closed. So I'd like to try it and see what happens personally. And we'll monitor it. If you know, you don't need a large number of lifeguards like we would have, because our camp has been closed, summer camp, because there's no way we could pull that off with 150 kids being in one room. But over at the beach area, we got a large area spread out. So I personally like to give it a try, and if it's not being attended, I think we could probably shut it down cost-wise, because I know that the dollars is on everybody's mind here too. I mean, we have to staff it. So, anybody else?
I'm somewhat concerned about congregating under the pavilion. You know, we can spread out nicely on the beach and park. So I'm a little worried about, you know, gatherings under the pavilion.
Yeah.
And then I'm also worrying about sanitation of the restrooms and stuff.
What do you think if you went to the pavilion there and eliminated some of the picnic tables right from it? You feel that would eliminate some of the congregation in there?
Oh, I'm sure that, you know, with, you know,
I just
lack of
think it
seating
is,
would, you know, make it less attractive.
All right.
We do have, excuse me, Town Clerk,
Yes.
because we take the reservations, we do reserve the pavilion for functions. Now, there are some reservations on the books,
Yeah.
and people have been calling, you know, are we on, are we not? We've been, you know, saying possibly not, just the worst case scenario. But I had a call the other day, and it's not till August, and my comment to that person was, well, one thing that's gonna happen is we're probably only gonna be able to be 50% capacity. And it's gonna have to be social distancing, it's gonna have to be masks. I mean, I think if these people were warned and were careful about, be very careful about how many people are actually coming to the party. Because the last time that they had to the community center, too, oh, I don't know, we might have 70, 30 show up. Or it could go the other way. So it's gonna be, if there's something booked, or should we allow the pavilion?
Should we? Councilman Sirsley, I'm wondering, you know, so if you have a booking in the pavilion and our capacity is down to 81, you know, you run the potentially closing it, the beach down for the rest of the town in order to host that gathering under the pavilion.
If there were a big crowd, yeah, it wouldn't even if you had 50 of them.
Sure. You know, is that fair to the rest of the town?
Good point. Yeah, we should probably discuss that. That's just, I wanted you to know that we do have those reservations, so whatever you decide.
Now, do we take temperatures of these people as they come through the gate?
Yeah, there's a whole protocol that has to be followed, so, which we have to do. But again, we have some adult staff over there who do that. What do you think, Mark?
I'd be in favor of it as long as we can follow CDC guidelines, the New York State Health Department guidelines, and I think we've cut back on the maximum occupancy. I think we probably want to put up some signs reminding people of social distancing and possibly consider limiting the number of people at the pavilion to leave it open for residents that want to just come to the beach with their families. So I'm in favor of doing that.
Jim?
Same thought. I'm good.
I'm just trying to get an idea here, so I'll continue, I mean, we don't usually open that up till after school, right, July,
First full week of July.
the first full week of July. So, I mean, again, I've been in contact with the lifeguards, and there's, you know, I believe the health department gave a little bit of time to get recertified, but many of them, we got a great staff of lifeguards. Again, they're college, I call them kids, but at my age, anybody under 60 is a kid, you know, so young adults for supervision. So I believe we got the staff, and I'll continue looking into this. Anybody else have any other thing going on?
Mackenzie went out to Grafton to see what they're doing out at the state park, and she just said that the pavilions at the state park are closed. You can use the beach, but you can't use the pavilions.
Okay,
Just FYI.
so that's how they covered that.
And they've removed a great, excuse me, Councilman Sirsley, they've removed a great deal of their picnic tables. From the storage back in the woods or the land.
As you know, the beach is restricted to Brunswick residents, so I can see a Brunswick resident has a party being booked that people could be coming in, who knows, I don't know what kind of parties they have, whether it's anniversary parties or whether people are traveling from different states, I don't know.
Sometimes family reunions.
Family reunions, which, you know, where it just comes to swimming and fishing and stuff like that, you probably won't travel from Florida to come do that, I don't think, that's Brunswick Beach, so, good points. What else we have, anything?
Well, we have what would be correspondence. Sorry, it's Town Clerk Lewis. We need to acknowledge we've received received correspondence. Now, in lieu of people being able to publicly speak, you would offer it as to how these meetings were going to be run, that written comments would be pretty much considered visitors speaking and would be made part of the record of the meeting. So we need to acknowledge that several of these correspondences come in via email, that I have in front of me right now, actually. But I have to address that they are here and the board members will be made aware of if they are not already, of all these concerns, which would be the proper order of business of the person we're standing in front of you. So, on that note, briefly, we had from Mr. Dylan Keenan of 62 Moon Road. I had three requests to be addressed by the board members at some point. Wanted this to be read out. June 3rd, we had an email. He's requesting for police report and video surveillance camera footage from the town relating to an alleged incident, and well, what is it at the town hall? The June 12th email, which is asking if the town board has assessed his ongoing dispute with the building department, specifically Chuck Golden, the building department, and like all occasions, Supervisor Murray, need to be addressed. And June 26th email in regards to in regards to correspondence that he had previously submitted before the last meeting, the May 14th meeting, which should have been, which is part of the issue of why minutes are going to have to be amended, should have been included in those minutes. So that needs to be addressed also. So that would be considered correspondence as well as visitors who wish to speak, and will be made part of the meeting record.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else? Old business, new business? How about the warrants?
I make a motion to pay our bills, Councilman Christian.
I'll second. Jim Sullivan, Councilman Sullivan.
All right, roll call. Sorry. Clerk Lewis, roll call vote. Councilman Christian.
Councilman Christian, aye.
Councilman Sullivan.
Councilman Sullivan, aye.
Councilman Balistrary.
Councilman Balistrary, aye.
Councilman Sipperly.
Councilman Sickley, aye.
Supervisor Harrington.
Supervisor Harrington, aye.
Okay, warrants are approved for payment.
Board have anything else? All right, let me just make a statement here, toward the end of the meeting. This is the third town board meeting that we have conducted without making provisions for attendance of the public and enabling them to make comments to the board. While we believe that we have acted lawfully and in all respect, given the governor's temporary suspension by executive orders of certain open meeting law requirements, which still remains in effect, we are fully cognizant that this is time to return to our normal format, given the current status of the phase reopening and notwithstanding the temporary setback we had this month. I would like to move forward, and at our July 9th, 2020 regular board meeting, I would like to open it back up to the public. People that know me know I enjoy public. That's what I do. This is killing me to sit up here and read these statements. I do it because everything is recorded, everything is legal. I don't want to miss anything, but I'd rather go face to face and talk to people. We can do the Zoom. I'm not afraid of that. However, I think that we have capacity in here enough that we could have our meeting. I might ask our staff to continue handing in the reports, to keep the numbers down. There's certain protocol that we would have to follow, i.e., we have to take temperature coming in, provide cleaning and sanitizers and so on and so forth. Now, that's my intention now. I mean, I would like to do that. However, as we know, this is changing day to day. If the governor all of a sudden gets concerned and there's a spike in this COVID-19, and he comes out with another executive order, and he feels there's a danger, as I mentioned, I'm not going to risk outbreaks of any kind, so there might be a change. But at this point, I think we can wear masks and spread out, and I'd like to give it a try. So at this point, that's my game plan. Now, just for information for the public and for the board, sales tax revenue, Rensselaer County, as I mentioned, we have a Zoom conference for supervisors, all supervisors. In March, sales tax revenue in Rensselaer County was up 7.7%. In April, first half, sales tax was up 5%. As we know, the economy was just flying. Our sales tax were increasing. We were doing great. The businesses along Route 7 was doing exactly what we wanted, creating sales tax and helping the town operate. And that's what we were looking for. Then came the crisis, I'm going to call it. In the second half of April, all of a sudden the county informed me that our sales tax, their sales tax, is down 15%. Now, once it hit May, the first half of May, sales tax to them are down 25%. Second half of May, sales tax down 39%. June, first half of June, sales tax in Rensselaer County was down 35%. In the second half, it looks like they're down about 54% revenue for sales tax. Now, a large part of our town revenue comes from their share of the county sales tax. And to say that these numbers concern us is very true. We are paying attention. We have an excellent staff here. We're monitoring this situation. It scares the heck out of me. One thing this town board, I've been very, very proud. We've always operated this town as a business. And doing so over the years, as many people in the town know, I think we have a reputation. Your taxes have not risen very much in the last 20 plus years, town taxes. And that's because we have a rainy day fund. And we're solid. We've got a nice revenue. We're comfortable. But let me point out, this rainy day fund was not meant to be a rainy month fund. And this is going on month after month after month. Now we're starting to see some stores opening up. We're starting to see some activity. County executive is encouraged that the numbers are going to come back the other direction, but we were watching this very, very close. There's been a lot of comfort to me to see some of these Brunswick businesses finally starting to open up a little bit. And it's real heartwarming to see our Brunswick community rally in support of the Brunswick businesses. I kind of chuckled a little bit with Dunkin's Dairy Bar decided to sell pizza. I mean, I've been here, I went to Dunkin's Dairy Bar. I was born and raised on Chestnut Avenue, which was behind Dunkin's Dairy Bar. And the entertainment was a walk when you're 80 years old up over the farm hills and go to Dunkin's for ice cream because they served ice cream. So I've been going to Dunkin's for a good many years. I've never seen a pizza come out of Dunkin'. And when he said he was going to start making pizza, I'm thinking, how's this going to work?
They were really good too.
The first weekend, they tell me they sold 70 pizzas. Now, the good thing about that is the cheese for the pizza came from Sickaway Creamery, another Brunswick business. They were thrilled because they never sold so much cheese, I don't think. So Brunswick was rallying around. And at this point, you know, I don't want to start thanking different people because I always get myself in trouble when I do that. But, you know, our staff, my staff, I say my staff because I always think of Tracy Broderick, who's my administrative assistant. And I will mention Bill Lewis over here to my left, our town clerk, and Becky, our controller. The whole staff went above and beyond. Tracy and Bill were here. One of them was here every single day. When we had our situation, they were here by themselves. Nobody else was around. But they wanted to make sure somebody was going to be here to answer the phone in case there was an emergency. They wanted to serve the people. Becky does an outstanding job with our record. Took over for Mr. Polito. Mr. Polito, Patrick's been working with her, and she's doing outstanding. So I asked her to start following these protocols, and there's a big sign when you come in the door, don't move until Becky takes your temperature. That's how you get greeted here in the morning. She's very, very thorough. She knows what she's doing. The staff is comfortable, and I'm very, very happy, and I want to say thank you. And we had a town resident also, and there's a lot of town residents that went above and beyond, our fire people. Some of the fire companies are still making calls. When the alarm goes off, they're being very, very careful. Everybody is above and beyond. But I do want to mention Jennifer Mann, a Brunswick resident, who started a web page, Facebook page, I guess web page, and it told us about the COVID-19 developments, kept the town informed. Now the advertiser, which is Times Union, as many people know, part of the Times Union, they ran a special there a few weeks ago about the town of North Greenbush, saying North Greenbush is open for business, and they had a list of the stores, or the businesses in North Greenbush that was open. There was one page. Jennifer Mann saw this, contacted me and asked me if I thought it was a good idea, if she could contact businesses and see if there's any interest in promoting their business in terms of being open. I, of course, perfectly okay with any town resident that wants to go above and beyond. So the next week, there's 2 pages of Brunswick businesses that listed their website and said that Brunswick was open for business. So I want to thank Jennifer and many, many other individuals who help support our neighbors. And I've always been so proud of being your supervisor, and many of you know because you get tired of hearing it. My wife and myself were born and raised here. We both love and still love and always will love the town of Brunswick. And I can't imagine living anyplace else. Although my daughter out to Santa Monica at one point, we went out to visit and looked pretty comfortable on that beach. But we love the town of Brunswick. We've got a great community. You've seen it with the schools, saw it at Averill Park and Nansenburg and Troy High and Tamarack. And Averill Park just had trying to celebrate the seniors graduating, and there's drive-throughs, and it's a great, great community. And as I mentioned, let's hope we can keep moving ahead. We have to be careful. Trust me, I don't have a mask on now because I want people to hear me when I talk, but I keep my distance from everybody, and we're very, very careful. And again, I want to thank everybody. So we okay? With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, Councilman Christian.
Councilman Balistreo, second.
Can I say all in favor, or you want a roll call?
Roll call again.
A roll call, please.
Councilor Rose will call a vote for adjournment. Councilman Christian made a motion. Councilman Balistreo seconded. Roll call vote. Councilman Christian.
Councilman Christian, aye.
Councilman Sullivan.
Councilman
Barry?
Councilman Palastrellini, aye.
Councilman Sitterly?
Councilman Sipperly, aye.
Supervisor Harrington?
Supervisor Harrington.
Meeting is now adjourned.
Thank you.